you get in that zone? The zone. The zone. Peach ass tea is bullshit.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. So it's basically going to be a get ready with me, but instead of you watching me do my makeup like in fast motion and like with music in the background, it's basically just going to be us having kind of a girl talk. So this video is actually a collab with my friend Kimberly here on YouTube. She actually came up with the idea for these kind of like girl talk get ready with me videos, and I thought it was the best idea ever. So I was like, hey, I might steal that video idea from you, just letting you know. And she was like, why don't we do a collab? And I was like, best idea ever. So yeah, I'll link her video and her channel down below. You guys must check her out. She is super sweet, super funny, super just amazing. Like, I love her videos. A few weeks ago, I actually found her channel and I was watching her videos and I was like, oh my god, I love this girl. And then I realized, oh my god, she goes to my school. And then I realized, oh my god, we're gonna have 4 classes together this semester. So there's that. So yeah, go check her out. I'm sure if you love my videos, you'll love her. She's awesome. I am just completely obsessed with her channel lately, so you guys need to check her out. But yeah, let's just get this get ready with me started. I'm just gonna clip my bangs back first so that they're not in my way this whole video. And yeah, what we're gonna be discussing today is daddy issues. And if you know me in real life, then you know that I am like queen bee of daddy issues. I deal with them so well. I guess I'll give you guys like a little rundown of my personal daddy issues. Basically, my parents got divorced or filed for divorce a month before I was even born. So my dad was like never really lived with me. Like, I didn't have to go through the whole like parents going through a divorce thing because they were basically already through it by the time I was born anyway. But I've never lived with my father. When I was little, I used to like see him on weekends and stuff, but he was really like spotty, like would come in the picture for a little and then be out of the picture for like years. It was just never consistent. Like, I never saw him for like a consistent amount of time. So I never really had like a very close relationship whatsoever with my dad. But yeah, so that's like a little rundown of my daddy issues. But I feel like I've been through enough of them to kind of be able to tell you guys how to deal with it and stuff. So I feel like this is a good topic to talk about. I feel like the biggest daddy issue, especially for girls, is like not really knowing how to, it's kind of hard to decipher how you're gonna like interact with men later on in your life when you're like ready to start dating and stuff. It's kind of difficult because the first relationship you ever have with a man is supposed to be with your father. And if your dad's not around, then it's kind of difficult to kind of grow, like develop that part of your life. But at the same time, it's not all hopeless. Like, if you have brothers, then you can learn that way. If you don't, probably some other kind of uncle or cousin or some other man in your life that you can kind of learn that from. And I think that's the biggest part, is just kind of trying to make a healthy relationship with men start at home, because I know a lot of girls that have daddy issues that also have a lot of trouble like dating. And I can definitely say that like when I first started not even dating, just like kind of liking boys, like I didn't really know how to act around them, because I didn't really know how to act like even around boys, because I don't know, I felt like I didn't really have like a connection with any man because my dad wasn't around. This is getting really deep. Whoa. I feel like Dr. Phil. But yeah, don't let the fact that your dad isn't around affect how you treat men. Like, don't make it like I don't trust any man because my dad wasn't around, because honestly, like, that might have been because your parents had issues and he didn't really have a way around it, or maybe your father passed away unfortunately and he wasn't around. But don't hold that burden against every other man in your life, because I'm sorry to say, not all men are the same and not all men are dogs, and there are good men in the world. I think that's number one, is like, don't just let one man's actions, your father's actions, just speak for the rest of the men in the world, because that's not ever going to find you happiness. You need to kind of trust in the universe more than trusting it in men. You just need to kind of just trust in the world that there are some good men out there and you will find one. And at the same time, don't let the fact that your dad wasn't around and you like really want like a man figure around, don't let that be a reason to just fall for any guy around, because that's not good either. I'm still on my first eyebrow. What the hell? I know for me personally, when it comes to like my daddy issues, I kind of just lay it all on the table. Like, when people ask around about my dad or whatever, I'm always just like, yeah, my dad's not around, he's kind of an asshole. And I'm like very upfront about it. But that's just kind of my personality with anything, like any problems in my life. I don't really like hide anything. I'm just very like lay it out all in the open. If you want, however you want to take it is up to you, but you know, But I know everybody's not like that. It's a sensitive issue for a lot of people. But for me, I'm just kind of like, yep, my dad's a douche. Oh well. That's probably just because my mom is that way and she's just like, yep. Not that my mom talks bad about my dad. Well, now she does. But she didn't do that when we were like little or anything. But she does now just because we're all, I mean, I'm like best friends with my mom. Whoa, my eyebrows are on another level today. Oh my god. But yeah, don't be ashamed to talk about like the fact that your dad isn't around or like that your parents are divorced. Don't feel ashamed about it because that's nothing on you. Don't ever blame yourself for your dad not being around because let's just be honest. I know this from personal experience. If your father wants to spend time with you, if your father wants to be a part of your life, he will make an effort to do so. And if not, then that's his loss because you're a great kid and he's losing out on those memories with you and you're making those memories with your mom and whoever else is in your life, and that's just his loss. And these days with like modern families and like the ways you can have children and stuff, a lot of people don't have a dad just because they don't. Like sperm donors, lesbian couples, like surrogate children, like all that stuff. A lot of people just don't even have a father in their life, and that's okay too. Like, don't think that the perfect vision of a family is like a mother, a father, and 2 kids, because that's just not the way the world works anymore. Yeah, so don't blame yourself if your dad's not in your life. That's not your fault. Don't ever think that you're like not a good enough kid, that he left because of you, because that is never ever the case. And if it is, then your dad's got more issues to deal with than you do. Also, if your mom is a single mother, cut her some slack. Like, don't go raging while you're a teenager all over the world because you're like rebellious or whatever. Like just be aware that your mom is doing this all by herself and she is trying her hardest, and you should be making it as easy for her as possible because raising kids is hard, especially when they're teenagers, and she needs all the help from you that she can get. I know for my mom, I was the good kid. Like, she really never had to deal with issues for me ever, just because I was kind of a straight edge kid. I never really did anything wrong. My grades are always perfect. Not perfect, but my grades are always in check. I never really got in trouble. But my brother on the other hand was like, oh my god, such a handful. He was always like cutting school and like just not ever doing what she told him. And I know that she would like freak out sometimes, and I don't ever hold that against her because it must have been so difficult for her to have to raise the both of us on her own. Keep yourself in check so that your mom doesn't have to stress herself out. Being a mom in general is like the hardest job in the world, and when you have to do that without any help from a father or anybody else around, then more power to you, and I commend you even more because that must be so difficult. But yeah, if your dad's around, be grateful. Be grateful that he's around because not everybody has that. Be grateful because not everybody has that in their life, and you're very lucky because honestly these days, isn't the divorce rate like 50% in this country, which is like crazy. So half of the kids in this world are only living with one parent. And if your dad isn't around, don't feel left out because like I said the divorce rate in this country is 50%. So half of the kids in this country are dealing with the same thing as you. I really don't even know what I'm doing with my makeup today, but we'll see what we turn out with. I guess we can talk now about like if your mom is a single mom and she wants to start dating. Don't be an asshole to every single boyfriend that comes around. Be a little bit of an asshole to them because you want to kind of test them and see if they're a good guy. But don't break your mom's balls about it. Don't call her names or like beat her up about dating someone because you don't want to be alone for the rest of your life. So just because your parents aren't together doesn't mean your mom has to be alone. And I've learned that. That was probably one of the hardest things I had to deal with growing up, is like my mom dating other people. Not that I wanted her to be with my dad, like not really at all. I just kind of wanted her to myself. I wasn't like that parent trap kid that like wanted her parents to get back together. Not really, because I like never knew my parents together anyway, so I don't really know how that would have been. Yeah, your mom deserves to be loved by someone too, whether it's your father or somebody else. Your mom deserves love too, so don't give her crap about dating people. I mean, there's a certain way to go about it. I know that every mother is different and they choose when they want to introduce their new boyfriend or the person they're dating to their kids, and that's up to them completely. But I think as long as your mom's doing that in the right way, that's comfortable for you and your siblings, then I think more power to her. She deserves love too, and you should not give her any crap about it because it's hard to raise kids alone and then just come home at night and sleep alone. Like, that's gotta be horrible. Not horrible, but that's gotta be really hard. So they need love too. and don't give them crap about it, basically. Like, my mom's boyfriend, they've been together for 4 years already, and he lives with us now, and I love him. He's like the best ever. But there were other guys in the past that she's dated that I hated so much, but I let her date them. Like, I'm not her mom. She's my mom, so I can't really tell her who to date and who not to date. But it kind of came through over time that, I don't know, I guess I'm a good judge of character, because all those guys I didn't like weren't right for her. And there's a right way to tell your mom if you don't like the person she's dating, or if you have a single dad and they're dating another woman. There's a right way to tell your parent that you don't like who they're dating. Don't just like be really mean about it and be like, I hate him, he's gonna ruin my life, he sucks. Be like, Mom, find what you don't like about them. Maybe it's just a gut feeling, and you just tell your mom, like, I don't know what it is, but I just have a gut feeling that this person isn't right for you, and I just want you to be aware of that feeling. Don't be mean about it, just be honest, because honesty is always the best policy. But yeah, I kind of want to touch on the fact that you can have a dad that's around every day and still have daddy issues, because I know a lot of people, like friends and stuff, that they see their dad all the time and they still like have problems with them. And I mean, that's fine too. Like, I had problems with my mom when I was younger. Not really anymore, because we're kind of like best friends now. But having problems with your parents is normal. You're not always going to see eye to eye with your parents, but for the most part, they're looking out for your best interest, and you need to just take that into account, that your parents aren't trying to ruin your life. They're really just looking out for you. And even if you don't agree with it right now and you think that they're just doing it to be spiteful, there will come a day that you're like, wow, thanks Mom and Dad, because you were right, I shouldn't have been doing that, or I shouldn't have made that decision, and I'm glad that you stopped me from it. If your dad's not around, there are always other people you can go to if you need like that kind of male figure in your life. There are teachers, there are guidance counselors. Your mom can also be your dad. My mom was. She did everything for us, and I'm so glad that I have her, because she is just like literally super mom, definition of super mom. I'm sure you've got uncles or cousins or brothers or something. I know one of like the biggest male figures in my life was actually my boyfriend's dad, who unfortunately passed away a few months ago, but he was not my dad. I met him when I was 16 years old, and he kind of like took me in and like kind of treated me as his own child, and I loved him for it. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't have to have that connection with somebody that is actually your biological father. You can find that kind of guidance within a lot of people, so don't think just because your biological dad isn't around that you've like kind of lost that in life, because it's not true. Also, I'm a very big believer in the fact that like everything happens for a reason. That's how I live my life. Like, no matter what bad things happen to me, no matter what I have to go through, like everything happens for a reason, and there's a reason you're going through that, and you're gonna learn from it. So just know that when it comes to like your dad not being around or something, or your parents getting divorced or anything like that, just know that this is happening for a reason. You're going to become a much stronger person from it. I know I have, almost to a fault. I'm like very tough and strong, and like kind of have a very like hard exterior, and my friends like to call me soulless, but no, it's just I've got thick skin, and it comes in handy sometimes, especially when it comes to like boys or love, or even your friends sometimes, or job interviews, like things that you get rejected from, like rejection at all. It comes in handy. So just know that anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know that for a fact. So if your dad's not around, it's not because you're a terrible person and God's punishing you. It's just because this is what's meant to happen in your life, and it's for a reason, and you're gonna grow from it. You grow from everything you go through in life. That's just another one of those things. You can't change what life has given you. You can only change how you deal with it and how you grow from it. So take your daddy issues and make it an opportunity to better yourself, because I know people that have daddy issues that take it out on people. Like, my best friend dated a guy once that had major daddy issues, and he kind of took it out on her and like didn't trust her and had like major trust issues because of it. And that wasn't her fault. She never did anything to him. She didn't even know him until she was however old, but that's just a fault of his. And I'm saying that because you need to take those issues and kind of make it a way to grow and change, and don't hold it against other people. The fact that your dad isn't around isn't anybody's fault but your dad's. It's not your fault either. It's literally only your father's fault. Don't make it something that you hold against people or hold against the world. Kind of just let it go. Don't be angry about it. Just be like, this is what life has given me, and I can only change like how I deal with it and how I grow from it. You can't change the fact that it happened. Nobody can. But it happened and you just have to learn from it. I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of video because I don't know how I feel about being this deep on camera, but I'm liking it at the same time because you guys like kind of get to see like a different side of me that you don't usually in makeup videos, because I'm more than makeup guys, I promise. And also, I mean, if you're really having problems with your daddy issues and you really just need somebody to talk to about it, don't be closed off to therapy. Therapy isn't only for crazy people. I've personally never been to therapy, although I think I should be going because I don't know, I just feel like it would be good for me. I think it would be good for everyone. I think everybody deserves at least like one session of therapy. Everybody's got their problems, and yeah, don't think that you're like some crazy person because you want to go to a therapist. A therapist is really just a person that you can tell everything to, and they have no agenda. They're literally only there to give you advice and help you work through your issues. So if you're really having problems with your daddy issues, don't count that out because it could be very beneficial to you. Oh my god, these lashes are life. I'm gonna list all the products I've been using down below because I haven't like said any of them. Yeah, I know a lot of people kind of think that like the slutty girls are like the girls with daddy issues, and I resent that fact because I am in no way that girl. I don't know, I feel like it could be a factor in like a girl being promiscuous, like they maybe don't feel like they're accepted by men or whatever, but just know, just because your dad isn't around doesn't mean that all men are gonna hate you when like you have to prove something to men, because you don't have to prove anything to anyone. I was like a very big prude up in high school, like up until I met my boyfriend, and then let's not get into that, but yeah, I was not in any way promiscuous like my whole life. So just know that that's not how you have to be. That's not how any girl has to be, no matter what issues they have in life. No girl has to be like that, but I mean, if that's what you want to do with yourself, then by all means do whatever you want. It's your body, but just know that just because your dad isn't around isn't a reason for you to act out in that way. It's not a reason for you to act out in any way, actually. I feel like I'm rambling now, but this is a big issue. Oh, I know what we can talk about now. I know that when I was growing up, I was always like sometimes jealous of like girls that had their dad around, and I would just be like jealous of that interaction, especially like with my cousins, like their dads are around and stuff, and I would just like feel a little bit of like envy towards them. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't feel like your life is any less privileged just because your dad isn't around, because if your dad isn't around and your mom is doing all the work, then look at that privilege that you have there that they might not. You have a super mom that can do it all, you know? Like, just think of everything you have in your life as a blessing, whether it's an outright blessing or a blessing in disguise. Everybody's life is different, and what you have isn't any less valid or any less important than what other people have, and don't feel jealous of anybody's life. You should just love the life you have so much that you make other people jealous of it unintentionally. At this point, I don't even know what I'm doing with my makeup, but I'm having fun. Oh my god, I love my makeup. Oh! Also, make the fact that you only have one parent, whether you have a single mom or a single dad, make that all the more reason to be even closer to them. I think family is like the biggest thing. Just make it all the more reason to be so much closer with everybody that you actually have in your life. Make the person that left your life and didn't want to be a part of it, make them jealous that they didn't. Make it all the more reason to be so much closer to the rest of your family, because I absolutely love everybody in my family. My family and I, like, we're all very close. We all even live close. Like, I live in my building. My uncle lives in the same building a few floors down. My grandma lives right across the street. My aunt lives in Staten Island, but she actually used to live in the apartment right below me. Bianca, she used to live in the apartment right below me when we were little, and it was so amazing, and we had so much fun growing up together. And yeah, my family is very close and I love it, and I never really felt like I was missing out on much because I had such a close-knit family and I had so much support that the fact that my dad wasn't around wasn't really even a big deal. Make it a point to just be so much closer with everybody else in your family, because at the end of the day, family is all you've got. Your friends may come and go, boyfriends and girlfriends may come and go, but your family will always be there. Everybody's daddy issues are different, but what I can say to kind of like make it general is you cannot change what happens to you in life. The only thing you can change is how you learn and grow from it and how you deal with it. So just make it a positive thing. I mean, it's not a positive thing. We can all agree that not having your dad around is not as good as having your dad around, but it doesn't mean that your whole life is ruined just because your dad isn't there, because I've had a great life and my dad was basically never around, and I honestly, looking back at it, I don't actually give a crap. He missed out on a lot of things because I'm an awesome girl and all of you are awesome kids, I'm sure, and that's just his loss. Basically. Don't feel bad that your dad wasn't around, because he should feel bad that he didn't make himself around. And once again, if your dad wants to be part of your life, he'll make himself a part of your life. I had to learn that the hard way, but yeah, luckily I had a great mom to steer me in the right direction and keep me on track, and I'm doing great. So sorry, Dad, your fault. And I may sound a little angry, but honestly, that's just normal. If you feel angry about your dad not being there, that's normal, because you should be. He should want to be a part of your life, and he should want to be there for his child growing up. But you can't like harbor that anger and let it like transfer into other parts of your life. Yeah, you just need to be at peace with the fact that your dad's not around, and you know what? It's okay. So yeah, let your daddy issues be your daddy issues, and just love your single mom so much more for putting up with all of that crap on her own, because seriously, being a single mom is probably the hardest job in the world. Even harder than being a mom is doing it all on your own is even more difficult. And you know what I hate? When people on social media, like on Father's Day, want to like bash people that say Happy Father's Day to my mom, because you could do the same if you have a single dad. You could do the same on Mother's Day, say Happy Mother's Day to my dad. It makes me mad because they say that like women are trying to take it away from the men, but why shouldn't you celebrate your mom for being both parents in that situation, because she deserves all of the thanks and all of the recognition for raising her kids. I guess we're ready now. Woo! We had a long ass talk. Oh my god, I need some iced tea. Editing this video is gonna be such a bitch. Oh my god, but I had fun doing it. So I guess that's it for this girl talk Get Ready With Me. Thank you so much to my friend Rose Kimberly for coming up with this kind of video idea. I had so much fun doing this, even though I sounded a little angry at times, just because I'm very passionate about this issue. But yeah, make sure you guys go check out Rose Kimberly's channel. I'll link it down below along with her video. We're basically doing the same video, discussing the same topic and getting ready. So I hope you enjoy hers. If you're here from her channel, then hello. Nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping by, and please subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys liked it, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye guys!